Greetings, blade lovers. This old sword's with you. Pretatout. Pretatout. That's French for ready for anything. This is a K Max Ram design, a French knife maker and designer. It is by Kansept knives, and it's not the first one, because I also have the titanium version of this blade with a tanto point. So there are 4 versions. This one just came to my attention last week, and instead of spending around $180 for the titanium S35 VN version, for $79 from White Mountain Knives, you get 154 cm and a very nice natural brown micarta, a light brown at that, which will darken up over time as it absorbs oils from your hand, or if you simply put a little mineral oil on there, which should do the same thing if you want to darken it up. I'm told not to use vegetable oil because it will become rancid over time and rot, so probably stick with the mineral oil. That's a whole other topic. So we've got a beautifully smooth on bearings 154 cm blade with a full length fuller, and this one is a clip point, a very nice clip point indeed. And I had changed my mind. I initially thought I was going to get the tanto, but I said, well, you already got the tanto in the titanium, so let's make this one interesting and different and do it in a clip point, which I ultimately did. Nice thick stock, nice ergos, and I think my friend Bob DeMarco picked one of these up as well, the Knife Junkie. So I hope he enjoys his. My titanium version is on loan to him, but a few days later he got his own, which had already been on order. So I can't compare this with the titanium tanto version because that is out on loan. They still give you the same clip with this one, which is a titanium clip. You get steel liners, obviously a steel blade, wide open construction with 2 barrel spacers, and it does lock up on a pin. And we got pretty thick blade stock and whatnot, so oh yes, and it's both a flipper and a Thumbstud. It's a great behaving knife as an EDC for 80 bucks. If you really wanted to get that titanium S35 version, I think this is going to be every bit as good. In fact, I tend to like the micarta just a little better as far as the feel in the hand. So this is going to have probably the exact dimensions as its titanium brother, 8 1/4 overall, and a blade, we're going to call it 3.6, cutting edge of 3.5. Thicknesses, handle thickness in inches, right on a 1/2 inch, very nice. And 3.5 millimeter blade stock, substantial enough. You go too thick and you're going to have thick edges. You're not going to be able to do much, but we got a pretty high grind here. Let's get the weight and then we can move on. All right, we're coming up at 4.40 ounces. Not bad. I think it might actually be a bit lighter than the titanium version. Interesting thing, there's no weight relieving. So just flat surfaces on those steel liners, and they are pretty thick liners. Just about right. You get a good lock up. I would call it 25%. Easily accessed. Nice cutout, nice chamfered liner in the release area. Fires very well with the thumb studs, as it does with the flipper tab. Flipper tab, yeah, doesn't stick up all that much. Maybe you want a little more muted one. You could probably mod that if you were into that. No jimping on the front, but it lies somewhat ahead of the pivot, so you can light switch that guy all day long. And you can hurt your finger a little doing a push button on it. I would light switch it. Definitely easier. And I like the thumb studs. And you could finger flick with the thumb stud, which I'm just not inclined to do. Again, I'm sorry. We have a slot for a lanyard. And again, wide open construction. We have nice alignment, nice centering of the blade. I haven't touched this at all. And you know, for the length of the blade and the handle and the overall, I'm surprised that it only comes to there as far as blade to handle ratio go. But you got a pretty decently long blade at 3.6 for a 8 1/4 overall. So they did a good job with engineering that. Got a beautiful swale on the top if you wanted to extend your thumb fully. You got nice jimping here if you wanted to stay back. Fits the hand well in a saber grip, but also fits extremely well in a hammer grip. Fits extremely well as well, almost, in a point down. Everything's great, but the thumb sort of encounters the pointed pommel, and it's really not sharp or anything, but more of that pronounced apex to the pommel of the handle there. Not going to complain about it. Why don't we compare it with a few of the usual suspects? Benchmade Griptilian. And we're coming in a wee bit longer, ½ inch longer overall than the Griptilian. And if we bring out the big old Rat 1, that is a good 3/4 of an inch longer overall. And longer blade. See if we can show that. A little bit longer blade, but again, not by much. So they did a great job with this, I feel. T8 hardware or pivot on both sides. Haven't tried loosening it. Got a nice steel surround, plain. Billboarding, not much. Got the Kansept logo. And it is Kansept and not Kansept, if that matters to you. I read a little background from the company, and they just wanted to have a different spelling for Kansept because they're coming out with knife concepts. Get it? 154 cm. And let's see if K-Max ROM, yep. K-Max ROM, his name is right there, is K-Max ROM Design. Just a really solid, nice EDC knife for far less money than the titanium version. It's stout, it's strong, the handle isn't too wide, ½ inch is nothing for a blade this size. Good stock 3.5 millimeters to the blade. And you can kind of compare this side by side with my titanium version in S35VN and the Tanto blade. It's going to be your choice. Really liking that clip point though. And the Tanto's got its own nice characteristics, so be a tough choice. But check them out at White Mountain Knives and you'll get 10% off if you use my discount code Old Sword. Old Sword. That's me. You all be well, and I think that is all I can tell you about this knife. The rest your eyes can do the walking. Be well. Take care. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe.